We have over 500,000 downloads on our podcast, Dietitian Boss, and we get clients and speaking gigs from the podcast alone. So you might be wondering, how do you start a podcast and what mistakes do you avoid as a dietitian so that you can start getting clients faster? Many dietitians do want to start a podcast, but they're just not sure what mistakes to avoid, and this holds them back from getting started. And I don't want that to be you. Or maybe you've gotten started, but you're just not getting enough traction to make it feel worth it for you. So let's talk. The first mistake includes lack of consistency. Typically, podcasts are published once a week. Now, you might want to start out once every other week or maybe even once a month, but the schedule that you want to create and publish has to be something that you can sustain. Now, what I suggest is creating a couple episodes ahead of time so that you don't feel the pressure last minute of getting everything up and going, because there's a process with podcasting, we'll talk about that in a minute, that includes editing and post-production, but it can feel overwhelming if you're new to the process. I suggest that you set a goal and keep with that goal so that you can be consistent. If you're inconsistent, you can lose trust with clients or potential clients because they might not know if they can rely on you to put out that content regularly. So you don't want to make the mistake of not being consistent. The second mistake includes a lack of focus. For example, maybe your podcast talks about general health or just kind of nutrition in general and topics, general wellness, and that's not really solving a specific problem. So you want to make sure that your podcast topics and episodes are really focused. Every content you create needs to solve a problem. Now, you can create content in clever ways, such as solo episodes, interviews with clients, or interviews with experts and thought leaders in your space, and you can tell stories, but you need to go back to the problem that you're solving. For example, you might be helping with feeding to help an infant grow through a vegan dietary pattern. Or maybe you're helping with weight loss through veganism, or you're helping with, let's say, food freedom. Whatever the end result is and the problem that you're solving, you want to make sure there's a consistent theme in your podcast episodes that you're publishing. Let me give you a couple examples of some really good topics or some good titles for your podcast episode. Fueling Champions, Expert Insights from a Sports Nutrition Dietitian. Or Balancing Wellness, Nourish Kids and Tackling Diabetes with a Dietitian. Or Nutrition for Life, Sports, Health, and Kids, the Dietitian's Perspective. Other topic ideas include diabetes, IBS, and weight management. Third mistake includes not solving their specific problem. So maybe you are solving a problem, like IBS, but you're not really specific with what your audience struggles with in context of IBS. So you want to make sure you've done your market research, you've talked to customers, and you know what their struggles and pains are so that the content you create is really specific to solving the problems that you know your audience experiences. Now, creating this connection between what you know your customers want and need with the content that you're consistently publishing that's focused, that's going to give you a chance to get in front of more eyeballs and have a better chance of getting more clients. Problems can include IBS and bloat, or diabetes and high A1C, or growth and infant feeding. You want to think about narrowing the problem that you solve. IBS is not enough. IBS and bloat would be. So think critically, and this will require talking to customers and figuring out what they want and need about narrowing your problem. Now, if you're just getting started and you're not too sure about what problem specifically you're solving within, let's say, the IBS realm, then you start with IBS, but make sure to learn as fast as you can what type of problem, what specific problem within the IBS space you're solving. And that's going to help you create the most focused content possible. Now, you want to be consistent with talking about the specific problem that you solve. A good podcast focuses on solving one main problem, and that podcast will talk about solving this main problem in a few different ways, such as stories with clients, research studies, and tips and tricks. And you can rotate what type of episodes you want to publish, and that's where a content calendar can come in hand. But if there's a variety of different styles where you're communicating a similar topic, that can be really helpful to drive home what you're trying to say. All right, let's get into some tactical steps to help bring it all in so that you can avoid these mistakes, but also get started faster. Because starting a podcast as an online dietitian is a really great opportunity to help you increase your visibility and have a better chance of getting more clients. All right, so let's look at that cover art. You want it to be clear, and you can make it on Canva and keep it simple. Yes, you can outsource it and have a designer make it, but you don't need to do that at first. You can create the dimensions that are required using Canva and get something out there so that you can get started. You can also publish a transcript. Now, you can check out the way that we do this at dietitianboss.com. Transcript is going to make it easier for different learning styles to understand the content that you've published. Transcripts really make your work accessible, and that's a good thing. You also want a promotion plan, and that can include emails, social media posts, and maybe even a blog post. And for us, our blog post is accompanied with that transcript. You want to register your podcast on major platforms like Spotify and, of course, Apple and other major platforms. You want to invest in a good mic, and there are a lot of decent options that are not too expensive. I suggest thinking about the process before you hit record. If you want to learn my process, my exact workflow step by step, comment below podcasts, and I'll make a new video and walk you through my workflow so you can see what it looks like for us here at Dietitian Boss after we've released, I think, 300 episodes. You want to use a good editing tool that will remove all of the filler words. And no judgment, I still use filler words on accident. That means the ums and the buts and the certain types of words that just kind of sound awkward but feel natural in the moment. Now, there's a really cool tool called Descript, and it'll actually take out filler words for you. And this tool is either free or low cost. It's a software tool that you can use for editing, and they've got some great AI features that I want to suggest and recommend that you can check out. And you can post-produce the podcast episode on your own. You can also outsource it to a team member, a virtual assistant, or somebody that you find online that can help do it for you. Finally, there's that content calendar. Now, the content calendar is going to be a great way to keep you organized. I'm going to give you a sneak peek. If you want to learn how to create a podcast and consistently publish content that people are excited about so that you can have a chance of getting more clients, I invite you to join the library. Inside of the library, you have access to over 300 lessons. Additionally, I provide you with a workbook so you can work alongside and complete exercises and get feedback to make progress in your business journey. Now, we have different sections, including stages of business, to help you understand what to work on next to help you progress with starting and growing your business. We also have guest lectures, live call recordings, and resources such as templates where we've written words for you for social media and email marketing to speed up your process. We hope you look forward to joining, and we invite you to come to the library, Dietitian Boss Library, with your peers and our team and me, Libby, to help you grow your business. Now, you might be wondering, now that you've got people interested in your work because of your podcast, how do you effectively sell nutrition coaching packages? I want you to watch this next video on screen to learn how.